for our freedom, some of them lying face down on a beach in a remote island in the Pacific someplace, was just too much to bear for these weenie wussies at Facebook. So they put up a warning over Dom Rosso's video. A warning that reads, this is sexually explicit material. Sexually explicit? What are they talking about? Not suitable for children, it reads. May contain violent and graphic images. Why should there be a warning disclaimer? Have you looked at some of the videos on Facebook today? If you scroll down your pages, there is, trust me, a whole slew of stuff a lot worse than this. Mostly put out by millennials who are clueless to the world around them as it is. So Dom puts out this video, and they want to censor it from the rest of the world. Why do they censor it? They censor it because they hate a guy like Dom Rosso. They censor it because they hate people like you. They censor it because they hate people like me, and they don't want you to get the message of freedom and liberty. They don't want you to get the message that the reason we stand during the national anthem is because we respect our country and we are patriots. So they censor it. Now, that's a big-time example of stuff being censored. I would like to know, folks, how many times you posted something on your Facebook page. You post something there. You don't know whether it goes out into somebody else's news feed. You don't know whether it's showing up on your friend's feed. Maybe you only get 5 likes. Maybe it was something that should have gotten 150 likes. But my guess is Facebook is squashing this stuff. And this is just a high-profile example of it. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to control the flow of information. And when you control the flow of information, I have always said this, information is power. You arm yourself with information, you will have the power. That's what I'm about. It's about the truth. And that's why it is a pleasure to be here on Rick Roberts' show. Because what we do here is talk about the truth and expose the lies and bogusness of the left, specifically at places like Facebook and Google. Look, I've done this. I've done searches on Donald Trump, and it comes up only negative news about Donald Trump. That's the kind of thing that should have all of you with your eyes open. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Are you surprised they censor a Navy SEAL? Have you ever been censored on Facebook? Maybe you've had your Twitter account blocked for posting something pro-Trump or pro-conservative or pro-freedom. So this is that video I was talking about. I just want you to hear it, and then I want you to tell me for yourself, do you honestly think that there is anything that is offensive about this?
I haven't always embraced history, but when I walked through a World War II museum the other day, it changed my life forever. I saw the dead bodies of Americans piled up on Omaha Beach, jackets filled with bullet holes, and the sand stained with blood. 419,400 American soldiers gave their lives to win World War II. That's 419,400 men willing to charge at a hail of gunfire, knowing damn well they would die. Willing to give their lives for as little as an inch of forward progress. For the men behind them, the country behind them, and the idea behind them. One life for an inch for freedom. As I walked through that museum, I couldn't help but wonder, what would those men think of us today? I even found myself asking a question that should send shivers of guilt down all of our spines. Did they fight too hard for freedom? Did they sacrifice too much? Did they make life in America so safe and so easy, so completely removed from difficulty and hardship, that we lost our understanding that freedom is guaranteed to no one and can be lost in an instant?
Dom Rosso knows the answer to that question. Did they sacrifice too much? No, they didn't sacrifice too much. 419,400 men died during World War II protecting the freedoms, specifically all our freedoms, especially our First Amendment freedoms. You have 419,400 men that died, and you got one wuss bag in Silicon Valley in California who decided to take it all away. Now, my grandfather's dead. He was a captain in the Marines. He's got a signed accommodation from Chesty Puller, the greatest Marine that ever lived. He would be sickened if he saw a story that Dom Rosso, a Navy SEAL who served just as valiantly as any World War II veteran did, sees that somehow this video of, by the way, dead men with their faces down on the beaches of those remote islands, that Facebook censors that. That is the very image that Americans need to see. Americans have gotten complacent in the world today because maybe, as Dom Rosso said, now it comes so easy to them, they want to lollygag their way through everything. Lollygag their way through the world. It is wrong. Now, what was the warning that Facebook put up? You actually couldn't see the video. You had to click through the warning to get to the video. You ready for this? You heard the video now. The warning says, this video may show violence against a child or teenager. Now, folks, you heard that. You can trust me when I tell you I've watched it because you can't see it. Was there any mention of violence against a child or teenager? We're talking about World War II vets who have given up their lives for this country, and the rights they fought for are ripped away by some snot-nosed millennial in California. The next warning, if you got it on your mobile phone, all right, so it's bad enough. That's one warning on your desktop. This is the warning on your mobile phone. The NRA's video clearly didn't do any of these things, right? Here's the warning. May be sexually suggestive or show partial nudity. Sexually suggestive? They want to just lie. They flat out lie to you. There was none of that in the video. If you read that and your little kid, I got an 8-year-old son, Wyatt. I try to teach him to grow up to be a man and an American who loves this country. I would love for him to watch Dom Rosso's video. And he's had the pleasure of meeting Dom Rosso, my 8-year-old. It's one reason why he loves Navy SEALs. You know what Dom Rosso taught him? Side story. Dom Rosso says you could never say can't. And if you say can't in the household of a Navy SEAL, you got to do 15 push-ups. Anytime you say can't. That's what he taught my son. So we follow that rule. You say can't, 15 push-ups. You can do anything. I would want my son to see that. But if I'm sitting there and I see a warning that says maybe sexually suggestive or it may portray violence against children or teenagers, I'm not going to play it with my kid there. But it didn't have any of those things in it. None of it. Which means they lie. I need you to help me break this down. I need you to help me because I am through the roof angry and Facebook needs to account. And don't tell me it's a mistake because even if it's a mistake, they need to account. And I'm going to go through that when we come back. All right? 888, excuse me. That's my old KLIF number, and I can't be giving that out. Not right now. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP. I'm Grant Stinchfield, in for Rick Roberts. We'll talk about all this when we come back. Grant Stinchfield here, sitting in for the great Rick Roberts right here on WBAP. Happy to be in the chair for you. All right, we are talking about my buddy Dom Rosso, a veteran Navy SEAL who literally made it happen for us. This is a guy who was out on the front lines in Afghanistan, kicking in the doors of terrorists. I mean, literally kicking them in. This was his job every night. He would go to some remote village, sneak in, kick down the door with his buddy, take his little, his training kicks in, and he's shooting them in the eyes. Many times, though, he would tell me, we don't want to shoot them in the face. We only want to shoot them in the body because we wanted to prove to the other terrorists in town that we killed those mother scratchers. And you couldn't do that with shooting them in the face. This is a great guy and a true patriot. So he puts out this video that talks about why we stand for the national anthem, why we get angry at overpaid millionaire dopes for kneeling and disrespecting our flag. Facebook censors it. Facebook puts a warning out that says the video may contain sexually explicit content. Lie. It's World War II vets. Here's what's going on. They are censoring this kind of content because they don't want you to get the message of freedom. That's what it comes down to. Let's go out to Fort Worth. Neville, you're on Rick Roberts' show. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks, man. Hey, when is somebody going to get smart here and make Zuckerberg and Facebook compete? We need somebody like James Woods to start an alternative platform that will allow these things to be processed and shown without all the censorship and everything. Hit him where it hurts, take away his money. At the same time, somebody on the conservative side makes a mint.
You know, Neville, I'm so glad you bring it up because one of the important aspects in this is, sadly, Facebook is well within their rights to censor whatever they want. It's their platform. It's their website. It's their business. They can run it how they want. It's not a free speech issue. They can squash and censor whatever they want to squash. Now, I will call them out when they tell us that they don't do it and they tell us they're fair and they're not. Then it's my job to get here and warn everybody that you're being duped. But you're right. The only way to combat this is through free markets and have somebody else come up with what I would argue is not a conservative social media site, which that may work, but just a site that's going to let it all go on. Now, you will always have instances where, hey, where do you draw the line? You want somebody putting pornography up? No, we don't want that. But where does the line get drawn? I can tell you where a line isn't drawn, Neville. It's lying to your customers and your consumers. That's unacceptable. And I won't stand for it, buddy.
You know, there was a Supreme Court justice one time who said he didn't have a definition for obscenity, but he knew it when he saw it. We all have common sense. We know what needs to be on there and what doesn't. But you're absolutely right. When you control the flow of information, you control what people think. And that's why we have so many ignorant people today. We need to fix it.
It is very true.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great phone call, Neville. Thank you. Thank you as well. All right. So it is true that when you control information, you have power. That's why, truthfully, I'm going to be honest with you. I love doing radio and I love doing TV over at the NRA, at NRA TV. Because there is some power in that. I have the power to hold politicians accountable. I have the power to sway the opinion of someone going through life blinded by liberal idiocracy, that if I get a message to them, and even if it's only one of them, and change their tune one by one, we start to change the world. Look, it is changing. We've seen the election of Donald Trump. We see now that people are waking up to what's going on, and we'll talk about Russia in a little bit, and this probe, that if anybody is surprised by it, you were living under a rug for the last 3, 4, 5 decades. The government is not there to help you, unfortunately. There was a time that it was, but it's not anymore. And I will tell you that Facebook and Google are not there to help you either.
I haven't always embraced history, but when I walked through a World War II museum the other day, it changed my life forever. I saw the dead bodies of Americans piled up on Omaha Beach.
Now, does that sound sexually explicit? No. Yet they censor it. Let's go out to Lee in Little Elm. You're on the Rick Roberts Show.
Thank you, sir. It's not just Facebook and Google. It's also Amazon. For example, yesterday, I did a search in their field for Peter Schweitzer, latest book, and the first item that popped up was Wolf's book. What is it, Fire and Fury? And I thought, wait a second. Some Schweitzer books followed after that, but that was the lead response. So I got on the chat with the Amazon people, and I said, what's it all about? And the answer was, well, you know, we put up the most recent book in the genre. He didn't use the word genre, but that was his intent. To put sometimes at the top. And I said, would you check my record of purchases over the last year? And he said, yeah, sure. How many books did I purchase? He said, 1,100. And I said, you know what? In all those purchases, I've never seen this before. So I don't think that's what you're really doing.
Yeah, I guarantee.
That's what he was doing. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, Lee, I'm glad you pointed it out because that is true as well. You got Amazon, and especially with books, and you see the New York Times bestseller list. Those aren't the best sellers. They're the best sellers that the liberals want you to think are the best sellers. 800-288-8255. 9227, 800-288-9227. That's the number. All right, I've got a very special guest coming up. These are two very good friends of mine, and we're going to continue talking about Dom throughout this show, but I do want to get my very special guest on coming up after the break, bottom of the hour, is Diamond and Silk. Do you know these ladies? They are literally phenomenal. Two black ladies who are huge Trump supporters, and they tell it like it is, and they are bringing the message to the inner city, and heck, I'll even ask them what they think about the censorship of the Dom Rosso video. They are scheduled to call in at the bottom of the hour. So we're going to take a quick little break, and then we'll be back with Diamond and Silk, plus your phone calls on the censorship of the video of a Navy SEAL who's trying to keep America safe and telling people to stand up during the national anthem, please. Hey, folks, I'm Grant Stinchfield. This is the Rick Roberts Show, sitting in for him in the great chair here that has held so many great conservative talk show hosts, and it's a pleasure to be on WBAP. We have been talking about my good buddy Dom Rosso and his video that talks about why we stand. Dom Rosso is a veteran Navy SEAL. He spent a career killing terrorists that wanted nothing more than to take you and me and march us down to the beach and literally put us on our knees and lop our heads off. Those are the guys he's been killing, by the way. Thank you, Dom Rosso. You would think that when he goes overseas to protect our First Amendment rights, our Second Amendment rights, all our rights, they would get some respect. Not from Facebook. No, they put up a warning on his video that the video, here, this one, by the way.
Jackets filled with bullet holes and the sand stained with blood. 419,400 American soldiers gave their lives to win World War II. That's 419,400 men willing to charge at a hail of gunfire, knowing damn well they would die.
Well, you've got 419,400 men willing to charge through a hail of gunfire. And you've got one snot-nosed millennial, a pimple-faced wussy at Facebook, who decided to put up a warning about this video. So you can't even see it unless you click through the warning that says, get this, the video may show violence against a child or teenager, and on the mobile version, may be sexually suggestive or show partial nudity. You know what they're doing. They're hiding the message. They're hiding a message of freedom and liberty from all of you. So what do? They do what all liberals do, is lie to you. So we've had tremendous response from talking about Dom's video and calling out the hypocrisy of the left and how far they are able to go. I wanted to bring on two very, very good friends of mine. You probably know them if you watch Fox News, if you watch Donald Trump, if you've got any presence on social media. They are Diamond and Silk. Ladies, it is so great to have you on the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So, you know, you two ladies have been a viral sensation on social media, and I'd like to know your thoughts about Facebook censoring a message about why we stand and why World War II veterans gave up their lives for this country.
You know, we don't know what's wrong with Facebook. It seems like they're also trying to control the narrative. They don't want us to know about our Constitution. They don't want us to know anything about our veterans. They don't want us to know anything that's going to help support anybody that's helping to fight for our freedoms. Mm-hmm. And it's time for people to pay attention. We know the left keep pushing stay woke, but we're telling you to pay attention. Look at the movers and the shakers and the fakers here. Look at the people that's trying to steer the message so you won't know certain things.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Well, it's time for us to stay woke, and it's time for us to pay attention. It's sad that Facebook is in putting itself in the middle of what we should see and what they think we shouldn't see, what they think is good for us and what they think is not good for us. They acting like they are a straight dictator. Mm-hmm. They're not a dictator. They are social media. And the mere fact that they are controlling almost over half of the world, that lets me know that this is turning into a monopoly, and it's time for somebody to step in and break this all up.
That's right.
You know, we have had listeners that have said that very thing, ladies, that maybe somebody will step up. And look, I don't even say come up with a conservative site or a liberal site. Just come up with a site where you're not going to censor things, because you summed it up. They're trying to steal the message, and they do it through lies. Now, you two ladies put out messages of freedom and hope and conservatism and all of these values. Have they ever tried any of this to you, whether the likes of Twitter or YouTube or any of it?
Absolutely. We are being censored on all of our social media platforms.
Yes.
Where our video will reach 1 million views within a day, it barely gets over 10 or 20,000. It just depends on how they feel in that day. We have all of our data to prove it. Let me tell you why they do it, though. Because, they know that the president won this through social media.
That's right.
Through social media. I mean, everybody drove the message home to get out and vote for him. Mm-hmm. So what they're saying, they won't do that again. They won't use that way again. So this is what we do. And so what they try to do is they try to thumb down your video. They try to make it seem like that you don't have any listeners. But here's the deal. Our fans are so clever. They email us or go on the side of our page. Where are you all at? I haven't been getting my notification. Facebook is doing something. Facebook is now asking me questions. I mean, it is the craziest thing, and we can see it.
It really is a deliberate attempt to violate our First Amendment is basically what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're taking away our free speech. This is a platform, a social media that's open to the public. If they didn't want us to have our platform on their platform, then they shouldn't have made it available to us. They tell us if you get these many people that like your page, they will get a notification whenever you come on or whenever you post something. Now everything is being censored, and I think it should be against the law.
That's right.
All right, so here's the real bottom line. When we talk to two ladies like Diamond and Silk, ladies, when you bring this message, it's important, but you've got to make money off it. And so when you put your videos out there, I imagine that you're monetizing this, and I want you to. I want you to be wildly successful of it so you can produce more content. When they limit the videos, or if they somehow they limit the number of views on your videos, that limits the amount of money you can make from these videos. And that, I believe, is another sideline way of how they squash your speech by making it not profitable for you to do it.
And not only that, they also block which advertisers can include advertisement within our videos.
That's right.
Sometimes they have these platforms set up where, if you do this particular video, we allow advertisers to advertise in between, like a commercial break, where they've taken that mechanism away from us.
That's right. They won't allow us to monetize.
That's right.
I mean, but they're doing it to a bunch of conservative voices, a bunch of voices that don't lean their way.
Right.
That just don't talk it the way they talk it. Mm-hmm. Listen, it's time for people to stop lying and let's tell the truth about things. And if you are a truth teller, they don't like that, so they put mechanism in place to block you.
But one thing about Diamond and Silk that we want everybody to understand, that when a door closes, a window always open. And that's why we're taking our message to the streets.
That's right, baby. We're going to be in Dallas, Texas on March the 8th doing our Diamond and Silk chit-chat. So we want people to come out. We want people to see us. We want to talk to people. This is about doing the grassroots work, changing the narrative that you see in the media. The left-wing media keep pushing this narrative. We want to change that, so we're going to take our message directly to the people. March 8th, Dallas, Texas. Get your tickets at diamondandsilk.com.
All right, before I let you two leave, because this is the most important thing. When I had my show over on 570 KLAF, I pushed this nonstop, and you two ladies know that we talk about it on NRA TV all the time. Mm-hmm. The importance of bringing this message to inner city folks. You two are black ladies, and you bring a message of conservatism, freedom, and hope. I have asked you this before, but for the listeners who are the first time hearing you, is the message getting out to people, look, in the hood, in the inner cities, and the people that aren't typically getting this kind of information from places? Is your message getting out?
I love what you said, the hood. Yes. We believe that the message is getting out. Listen, people have hope. People want more money in their pocket, and they're seeing that now. People are beginning to go out there and get. President Trump created 2.4 million jobs. People of color are able to go out there and get one of those jobs.
That's right. And if the message wasn't getting out there, they would not be trying to censor us.
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you, Silk. That's right. If it wasn't getting out there, you wouldn't have the left-wing media always bringing up racism. That lets you know. If it wasn't getting out there, you wouldn't have had somebody like Maxine Waters on Black Entertainment Television trying to rebut the President's State of the Union address when she should have had her butt there representing her people. That's how we know the message is getting out, because what they do, this is what they do with that Democratic plantation. They start to call them back to the plantation.
Yeah.
See, they used to seek the dogs on you. Now they're doing a dog whistle, calling you back to that plantation to tell you, no, you don't need to listen to that. You don't need more money in your pocket. We'll give you a little welfare. We'll give you some food stuff. Well, people are tired of crumbs. We can no
I love you too, ladies. I swear to God, I do. Both of you are just terrific, and it is a great message. Give me one more time. Dallas, Texas, the Diamond and Silk Tour.
Texas, March the 8th. You can get your tickets at diamondandsilk.com. Click on Chit Chat Tour to get your tickets.
All right, ladies, we will see you on NRA TV one time soon. I know it. You guys keep up the fight. Thank you for sparing some time with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Those two ladies are patriots, and I love talking to them every single time. And you hear what they say. They are being censored too. And so the reason the censorship is happening at a level, yes, inside the federal government, and yes, from Silicon Valley and all the liberals and socialists that are literally infesting those companies like Facebook and Google and Twitter and beyond, is because they are scared. The election of Donald Trump scared them half to death. And so now they figure, well, we can't win on our message. So what we've got to do is squash theirs. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Let's go up to McKinney. Bill, you're on WBAP.
Hey, what's happening?
What's up, Bill?
Oh man, I've had my own experiences with Facebook. Started with a simple 24-hour ban for a block from my own page because I posted something they didn't care for about CNN. And several weeks later, I got into a bit of a heated discussion, political, of course, with someone, and I called them a schmo and a moron. And the next thing I know, I'm blocked for a week from my own page. A week to the day after that ban, 24 hours after that block was lifted, a week later, I was banned for a month for something that I'd said 3 weeks prior.
Well, Bill, I mean, you have to understand that when you call someone a schlomo, that's very outrageously offensive to somebody, a schmo. I mean, how could you dare do something like that? You must be blocked. I wish Twitter would see, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll read some of the, you want to hear some of the death threats that I get on Twitter and Facebook on a daily basis? Maybe I'll read some of those, and we'll see if Twitter has ever blocked these people or Facebook has ever blocked these people. I can literally just pull it up and we'll talk about the death threats that we get. They ought to block those people. Instead, they block a guy like you, Bill, in McKinney, and a guy like Dom Rosso, who's a Navy SEAL. It's outrageous. Thank you for the call. 888. Excuse me, not 888. It is 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. You know what's killing me about this phone here? So I'm on Rick Roberts' phone. He must get really angry when he does the show because none of the buttons work. So I'm trying to push the button to like hang up or go to the next one, and they're sticking, or else he's eating candy and he's got chocolate all squished up in the buttons and they're sticking. Is that the problem, Navy Dave? Or no? Is that the problem?
I don't think he does that. It might be the later show that does that.
Maybe that's it.
Or maybe it's Lambo in the morning.
I don't know. It's Lambo's.
Salcedo.
We'll say Lambo.
Salcedo. They got their sticky fingers and they're from all the cinnamon buns, and then they're hitting the phones real hard and they're sticking the buttons.
Well, the morning show is the one that has all the good stuff.
You know what's interesting though? I have no power in here anymore. When I was over at 570 KLIF, I could just call up the programming director right away. I said, I need my phone fixed. And he'd come running down into the studio with a new phone, fixing it up and everything. Now, they don't care. Now they don't care. And I promise you, he never did that ever before either. Oh, brother, I love radio. All right, 800-288-9227. I'm Grant Stinchfield, in for the great Rick Roberts. We'll continue this conversation when we come back. Stick around. I'm going to tell you what, I love sitting in on WBAP for Rick Roberts. Grant Stinchfield here, talking about what it's like to be censored. First off, I vowed I would never be censored again, and I thought that was true when I left Channel 5 here in town. I worked for many years over at NBC5. They used to censor me, and the way they censored me was not so much telling me what to do on the air. It was telling me what I couldn't do on the air, what stories I could and could not cover. And so when I ran for Congress, I said, you know what, I'm never going to be censored again, and we're going to expose Washington from the inside. And then I lost that race against Kenny Marchant out there in Capel. Do nothing congressman, by the way, but I lost in a Republican primary to him. And then I started doing radio. And never, ever was I censored on radio. Never, ever am I censored on NRA TV. I mean, you've got good, strong, conservative voices at WBAP and KLIF and certainly NRA TV and other outlets, too. You know where you're censored now? You're censored on socialist media. That's what I call it now. It's socialist media. Not social media, but socialist media. My buddy Dom Rosso, a Navy SEAL, puts out a video, and they censor him. So my question is, are they censoring you? You better believe they are. It's how your stories show up in your news feed. Do they even come close to showing up in your news feed? Because I'll tell you this, if they can censor a veteran Navy SEAL who committed his life to keeping us safe and free, you better believe they can censor you. Let's go out to David in Hearst. You're on WBAP.
Hey, Grant. Nice to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, David. Thank you for calling me.
You know, I'm privileged to spend most of every day with World War II vets, people who fought for our freedom, who watched their best friends, their brothers die. Yet here they are. And, you know, the censorship is bull because, you know, I've been censored a number of times. That's why I quit putting political stuff on my feed. I just put it in a group I'm in. That's it. Because, you know, I'm tired of being censored for 7 dang days.
Can I say something about this, David? And I want you to listen to me carefully, all right? I want you to keep posting conservative thought. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to be angry, but post literally well thought out conservative thought, whether you're linking to articles from reputable conservative websites. Don't do the obscure ones. If you never heard of the website, don't post it. It could be just as much fake news on the conservative side of things as it could be on the liberal side. But I want you to keep posting stuff. You see, because this is what they want to happen. They want you to give up. And I want you not to give up. I want you to keep pushing it and keep fighting it. And I know you probably have friends. All of you out there probably have friends that say, you know what? I don't really watch you anymore. Or they defriend you or they block you. You know what I say to them? Good riddance. See you later. Sayonara. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. I really don't care that you block me or unfriend me because it is this important. And if all of you join me and others like me pushing this kind of thinking out to your friends and loved ones in a respectful, informative manner, then we keep the message going. But don't give in to them, and don't give in to your weenie friends who are so afraid of confrontation, right? All these people, we don't talk politics. You don't talk politics. Well, then what do you talk about? Because there's nothing else worth talking about right now. And the bottom line is, unless you're a really good friend of mine, I really don't want to hear about your 12-year-old's dance recital. And I certainly don't want to watch your home videos. We have a war that is going on in this country. It is a war for the heart and soul of America. And I am not going to not talk about politics. I do it for a living, yes. But that means what you can do is take the word to the streets like Diamond and Silk do, who we just spoke to. Take it to the streets, spread it, but you've got to do it respectfully. And if they start coming at you with all kinds of evil and hate, then you just back it down. Now, what did I say I was going to do? I said I was going to read some of these death threats, and then I totally got off on a tangent. But before we go to commercial, I'll just start you off with one of them. Stinchfield, you are a terrorist, period. That on Twitter. Stinchfield, I will choke the life right out the F of you. Okay? That on a public Facebook message. I've got others that are long. They're like pages and pages long. Those are the people that should be censored by Facebook and Twitter, someone threatening the life of me and my family. Now, I know they're all a bunch of blowhards, and I'm not worried, because you better believe I'm packing nonstop all the time, just in case one of them turns out to be a deranged lunatic. But this is what we're up against. That's it. Don't back down to them. 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. I'm Grant Stinchfield in for Rick Roberts. Quick break, and we're back in a flash.
This is the news and talk of Texas. Now, it's the Rick Roberts Show on 820 AM, 99.5 FM, HD2, News Talk 820, WBAP.
Well, I know there's got to be a few 100 million more like me, just trying to keep it free.
Rick Roberts starts right now.
Well, you don't get Rick Roberts. You get Grant Stinchfield. And it is an honor to be sitting in his chair as he takes a day off today. I understand that Rick Roberts told you to be easy on me, is what he said yesterday. Take it easy on Grant. Be nice to him or something like that. Look, let me tell you something, folks. I don't need anybody being nice to me. I'm used to everybody being angry with me. And what I want to do is get everybody angry with me, except for the people that agree with me. Those people I want to love me. That's what's the greatest part about this job is the people that agree with you, love you, the people that hate you, who cares? Which gets back to my original comment that, folks, if you've got an important piece of information, don't be afraid to share it with somebody. Who cares what they think, as long as you do it respectfully? All right? You want to talk about haters? I told you I would share some of these death threats that I get, literally on a daily basis. And they ramped up as soon as I started to work for the National Rifle Association. All right, you want to hear this one from Ed? Ed from California writes this. You mother effing piece of coward. Come visit me with one of your guns, you little weasel. I will take that effing gun, split your effing head open with it, wrap it around your neck, and shove the barrel so far up your you-know-what, it will be coming out your mouth. Can you spell coward, you little, well, the C word that's about the worst word you can imagine. So you know what I read when I read that? I said, man, this guy actually gives a pretty good little angry email to me. I mean, it was creative. It got the point across. It was somewhat succinct. It was a little bit longer than the you are a POS coward that I get. That's the normal one. I was like, this guy's pretty good. Am I afraid of him? No. Do I think he's coming for me? No. But do you know what Rachel Maddow would do if she got this? She'd report it to the FBI. People have asked me, do you report these to the FBI? No, I don't report them to the FBI. What is the FBI going to do about Ed in California? He's not going to do anything. And God bless him if he comes calling for me. I'll tell you that much. God bless him. All right, so when you talk about should a guy like that be censored on Facebook or Twitter, you better believe it. If Twitter had a way to see a message like that coming out, where literally he threatened my life, he's going to shove a gun up my you-know-what and blow my head off, you don't get any more threatening than that. But they don't threaten a guy like Ed in California who wants to take the life of Grant Stinchfield. Who they censor is a guy like Dom Rosso, a veteran Navy SEAL, that puts out a video. He's my buddy. We work for the NRA and we put out videos. And by the way, I'm going to give you a tease. I've got a video coming out about the media that is going to knock your socks off. That's just a little tease. It's going to be maybe a week or two before we release it, but it's going to be great. Anyway, Dom releases this video and we play it on Super Bowl Sunday because we're all fed up of these overpriced millionaires taking a knee for the national anthem and disrespecting our flag and disrespecting members of the military. And so we released this video where Dom talks about World War II veterans and what they went through and what the flag means. Well, here, I'm gonna play it for you, and then we'll talk about what Facebook did.
I haven't always embraced history, but when I walked through a World War II museum the other day, it changed my life forever. I saw the dead bodies of Americans piled up on Omaha Beach, jackets filled with bullet holes, and the sand stained with blood. 419,400 American soldiers gave their lives to win World War II. That's 419,400 men willing to charge at a hail of gunfire, knowing damn well they would die, willing to give their lives for as little as an inch of forward progress.
All right, the video goes on. That's why we stand. Facebook has the gall to put up a content warning slate over the video, a cover of the video. Can't even see the video unless you click through this. The warning says this video may show violence against a child or teenager. What? I've watched this video over and over again. There's no violence against a child or teenager. On the mobile version, the warning said maybe sexually suggestive or show partial nudity. Are you kidding me? There is no sexually suggestive partial nudity in this. This is about men who gave up their lives for this country. So Dom Rosso, a Navy SEAL, could also enlist in the United States Marine Corps, go become a Navy SEAL, the United States Navy, and become a Navy SEAL, and go out there and keep us safe and free. So he had First Amendment rights to put a video like this out there. The men who died on that beach died for Dom Rosso. They died for you and me, by the way. And Facebook has the gall to censor it, and not only censor it, but lie to you about it. That's insane. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. So you ask, what is this all about? It's about information, and information being power. That's what it's about. Let's go out to Darren in St. Louis. Darren, you're on WBAP. Thanks for calling in.
Yes, sir. I have 4 Facebook accounts, and as of right now, 3 of them are in jail. I'm continuously in jail for anything and everything, you name it. If you post anything anti-Muslim, you're in jail. Anything anti-Obama, I posted a picture of Obama in front of a firing squad for treason, in jail. Anything anti-gay, you're in jail. You name it. Facebook has administrators that are on everybody's friends list. You don't add them. They add them for you. And you can block anybody you want except for them administrators. So I've got 4 accounts, and I've always got at least 2 in jail. Right now, I got 3 in jail.
All right. Well, you're living it then. I appreciate you telling that story, and I appreciate you listening all the way from St. Louis, Missouri. Appreciate it, Darren. So he's living it. And I'm sure there are folks out there that are also living it. They control the information. Now, what does Facebook say? They're not giving a response as to why they would flat out lie. Forget about the warning. Even if the warning said, violent material, something like that, warning, maybe graphic images of the dead soldiers on the beach, maybe I could understand that, but I don't even think they should put a warning on for that. Maybe, but I don't even think so. But that's not what they did. They lied to you. They said it shows partial nudity and is sex-filled, and they said it may show violence against a child or teen. That's designed to make you so you do not click on it. Now, even if they tell us it's a mistake. No, that was a mistake. We don't know what happened. Unacceptable. It went up there. I worked for GE for a while. They had 6 Sigma. Jack Welch came up with this 6 Sigma. It's about being perfect. And when it comes to freedom of speech, you better be perfect. When it comes to squashing my rights, you better not get in the way, because I'll be perfect about fighting back. Mistake is not going to cut it. Jana in Dallas, you've been on hold a long time. Let me get to you before we go to break.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say on Election Day, I had changed my profile picture to red because I thought, at least these things that tell who's on whose side, they're all wrong. So I thought, well, if my profile picture's red, then people will see I'm for Trump. And it looked red when I looked at it, but when I went on other sites and clicked on agree or I like this, I love this, it was showing up my past profile picture. It wasn't showing up red. They did not change it so other people could see it. Only I could see it red, but nobody else could see it red. Look. So they were censoring it to everybody else. They were making me believe that it was changed.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe they're up to and capable of just about anything. Jana, thank you for telling me that story. All right. Grant Stinchfield here, sitting in for Rick Roberts, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a little more of Dom's video. And then we're going to talk about a little piece in that video about the number of men who died, 419,000, by the way, in World War II, and the number of people it takes to keep you from getting the real scoop. And the difference is stark and striking. We'll talk about that when we come back. I'm Grant Stinchfield, back in a flash. Hey, I'm Grant Stinchfield, sitting in for Rick Roberts here on WBAP. Talking about my buddy Dom Rosso, my coworker over at the NRA, a veteran Navy SEAL, who puts out this video.
For the men behind them, the country behind them, and the idea behind them. One life for an inch for freedom. As I walked through that museum, I couldn't help but wonder, what would those men think of us today? I even found myself asking a question that should send shivers of guilt down all of our spines. Did they fight too hard for freedom? Did they sacrifice too much? Did they make life in America so safe and so easy, so completely removed from difficulty and hardship, that we lost our understanding that freedom is guaranteed to no one and can be lost in an instant?
I'm going to tell you right now, we better not forget it. And it can be lost in an instant. Just look at Venezuela, by the way. You know, that was once a proud, great country, certainly nothing like America. You've got a dictator running Venezuela. There is famine in the streets. Price controls now have people dying at record numbers. Government controls everything. This Nicolas Maduro, evil dictator, he kills people, anybody he doesn't disagree with. They are a socialist, evil dictatorship in that country. And do you believe we have Americans today that want to go down that path in this country, somehow thinking socialist is great? So your socialist network, your socialist media, not social media, socialist media on Twitter and Google, censors a message, Dom Rosso, basically saying, hey, guys, let's stand for the national anthem. That video is titled We Stand. He talks about men who gave up their lives storming beaches in a remote island in the South Pacific. In that video, that's what he's talking about. There were many others in Germany and beyond and France that literally gave their lives for this nation. And Facebook has the gall to put up a message. Don't watch this video. It shows violence against children and it's sexually suggestive. What video were they watching? But it doesn't matter what video they watch because it's all about lies. They figure if they put that up there, you won't watch it. The message doesn't get out. Message squashed. They are henchmen. They are soldiers. They are doing the bidding of the Democratic Party, liberals who want to become socialists, who want to take this country to places the likes we have never seen, except in places like Venezuela and Iran and North Korea. Do you want to go there? I don't. And I will keep kicking and screaming until the day those people, whether you're at Facebook or whether you're at Google or whether you're in academia at Columbia University or, God forbid, the University of Texas, you push this bullcorn message on America, I'm bringing the heat. And the heat is with my words and it is with truth. So don't mistake me, you crazy liberals who think when I tell you I'm bringing the heat, I'm getting violent. I'm not getting violent. I'm getting violent with my words. And it's going to come like a sound of fury you have never heard before because the truth always wins. That's what they don't get. They can lie to you and tell you Dom's video is sexually explicit and you don't watch it, but guess what? Guys like me rise up and put it out on WBAP for literally tens of thousands of people to hear and maybe more. And then they look like even more stupid. But it's not that they're stupid. It's that they are devious and deceptive. Let's go out to Grand Prairie. A veteran, Jeff. What do you say, brother?
Thanks for having me on. And I'd just like to say that when we're talking about defending this country, and it goes back to 1997-98 when I was in the United States Air Force. I was in there for 10 years. I didn't ask to go. I just got back from Korea, and they sent me to Operation Southern Watch at Ali Al Salim in Kuwait. Right?
God bless you, Jeff. God bless you, Jeff.
Yeah, Desert Fox. And where I was, we could see, with binoculars, we could see Iraqi Republican Guard T-72 tank turrets pointed towards us. And we were getting ready to. We had the Desert Fox, we called it President Clinton's Wag the Dog War, where we bombed the crap.
All right, so Jeff, we got a lot of callers, and this is an important message. And I love you, man. I love you for doing what you're doing. Okay. What do you think when you hear Facebook censors a message? Dom Rosso, a Navy SEAL, who is facing down the same evil terrorist that they looked in the eye. You looked a tank in the eye, man. The barrel of a tank is pointed at you, and Facebook gives a rat's ass, Jeff.
I just took my Facebook account down while I was waiting to talk to you on the phone.
Well, there you go. See, that's action. That's action. That's what you're willing to do. Look, people are willing to make sacrifices, and you made it, Jeff. You made it when you faced the enemy in the eye, and you just made it now. Buddy, I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate your service to this country. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. He canceled his Facebook account. Unbelievable. I love it. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Please. Let me know if anything like this has happened to you. What's your way of fighting back against Facebook? Stephen, Prosper, what do you say?
Hey, partner. Listen, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here, but I just did want to make a point.
All right.
In World War II, these people that stormed Normandy were probably 17, 18-year-old kids.
Many of them.
That faced and understood and embraced a less than 50% chance of survival. So in an aspect, there may be potential for, visuals of violence against teenagers. Those kids were more men than any of these 20 to 30-year-old liberals that are talking out of their ass. And you can't compare the two. You've got to take everything in context.
Steve, you just said it. You just said it. You've got to take everything in context. Now, the soldiers that are face down in the beaches of Guadalcanal or Peleliu that are in Dom's video, when they say there may be, the video may show violence against a child or teenager. Now, you just said we take things in context. Do you think a reasonable person would think that video shows violence against a child or teenager?
No, as I said, I believe those, quote unquote children are far more men than what we're facing and raising today and what we see on liberal colleges and campuses across the country. And, in their very actions, they prove their manhood.
Well,
they are not children, and they are not,
here's the thing.
Victims.
We need people like you, Stephen. I appreciate the phone call. I'm coming up late on a break. We need people like you to be gracious to Facebook and say that somehow these soldiers were teenagers and it's violence against. I'm not as gracious. I have no tolerance for deviant little pipsqueaks, pimple-faced, millennial socialists deciding what can go on my news feed. That's the kind of thing that really ticks my butt off. And so we will keep up the fight after a quick break. I'm Grant Stinchfield in for Rick Roberts. Stick around. Hey, I'm Grant Stinchfield, sitting in for Rick Roberts right here on WBAP. It is the Rick Roberts program, but I'm having a fun time talking about things that I want to talk about, and that is censorship on social media. Specifically, it happens all the time. Okay, one, I know they control what news gets out there. The conservative-minded news is being put to the bottom of your news feed, if at all. They are shutting down, as we've heard from listeners, they are shutting down Facebook pages when somebody comes out there with strong conservative thought. They literally shut you down for a day. Now, that has not happened to me, but I will tell you what has happened to me, and I watched my public page. The more conservative-minded things that I started posting, and the more NRA things that I was posting, the likes went way down. And I was like, is the likes going down because people aren't liking it, like they don't like the message? Or are the likes going down because people aren't getting to see what I posted? And in the end, I'm convinced, because the same video that have my 8 million views on YouTube, 3 million views on Facebook, those same things that I then go post on my Facebook page and they're not coming up, I think they're censoring me. And they're putting it on fewer and fewer people's news feeds. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Let's go out to Fort Worth. Diana, you are on WBAP.
Hi.
Hi.
I have been listening to your show every day. I'm a first-time caller.
Okay.
And I really appreciate what you're doing, because you're informing people. You're letting people listen to both sides of the argument. Now, how many people out there, listeners,
Hey, Diana, you know what? Your connection is really bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang up with you, and then you can try to call back and get a...
No.
Diana, what's wrong?
I waited so long.
All right, here's the deal I'm going to make you. Listen to me. I am one of the nicest conservative talk show hosts you have ever met. So what I want you to do is call back, and I will put you the first on. I promise you. Okay?
No, I can't. I waited too long.
Diana, this is where it just rips my heart out here. But on the count of three, I'm going to hang up and just call back, okay? I promise you. Here's the number. 800-288-9227. I'm hanging up on Diana, but she's going to call back. Oh, she's going to be so mad at me. I know she is. But look, that's the way the cookie crumbles. If you don't have a good connection or signal and I can't understand you, you could talk till the cows come home. What you say is not going to mean anything because I can't understand a word you're saying. All right, so with that, Mike gets lucky because he's in Gainesville, and you're next up, Mike. What do you say?
Hey, Grant. Nice to talk to you. I want to say thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, Mike.
And thanks to all the veterans out there listening to your program. I was listening to you talk about censorship on Facebook. My coworkers and I, we've noticed that if we're having a conversation and our phones are present in the room during the conversation, if you open up your Facebook app, there's an ad trying to sell you something that you were just talking about. It sounds like a conspiracy, but somebody's definitely listening.
Well, now that would be crazy. I don't put it by them. Somehow being able to do that. The only thing that I could explain, too, is if you're talking about it, did somebody just do a search on it? Because it is creepy to me when you do a Google search, and then the next thing you know, there's a Facebook ad for the pair of Timberland boots that you wanted, and it's coming up like over and over again. Very creepy. I'm glad you pointed it out. You know, there was a case of the Amazon Echo, where there was a murder being conducted, and it picked up the recording of the murder that was being that was going down, and police literally could take it off the Echo in the house that it was recording the conversations. That, in many respects, is frightening. You know, we're talking about Dom Rosso's "We Stand" video, and he talks about why we should stand. All right, and it got me thinking about what happened over the weekend. Over the weekend, a Colts player, Edwin Jackson, was killed by a drunk driver and illegal, right? Driving drunk, deported twice. And I thought to myself, Edwin Jackson, an NFL player, is seen, and I found pictures because I wanted to see if Edwin Jackson was one of these players who kneels during the national anthem. And I couldn't find him kneeling. I found a picture of him standing in front of Antonio Cromartie, a Colts player. And I said, all of these players that knelt because they hate Donald Trump and they hate the policies that Donald Trump is trying to put through to keep you safe. Do they realize that them kneeling and opposing the very policies that could have saved their teammate and player instead gets them killed? Do they realize that they're supporting policies that have now gotten one of their teammates killed? If you deport somebody and he comes back, you should arrest him and put him in prison for a long time and then deport him again. Don't just keep sending him back and forth like a revolving door. I want to know if all of these NFL players realize any of this. Do they? I don't think so. So we put out a "We Stand" video. It's a message to every NFL player. It's a message to every liberal out there. It's a message to every Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi who wants to take a kneel on the House floor. And yet it gets censored on Facebook. David in Arlington, you're on WBAP. What do you say?
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, David. What do you got?
Do you realize when you log into Facebook, you click, I agree to the terms of service, which means you have no rights. They control everything that goes on there.
Oh, yes, David, absolutely. So what we've been talking about, David, what we've been talking about on this program is that we need somebody to rise up and start another. Well, in this case, I've been calling it socialist media, but we need another social media site that will offer a platform for the free flow of ideas. I don't care whether it's liberal ideas. I don't care whether it's conservative ideas. All I want is a free flow of ideas that will not be censored. That's it. Because you don't have any rights on Facebook. David is right. Now, David, sadly, most people don't know that. You realize that, right?
Yeah. I mean, they don't read the 22-page contract that they click and agree to it, that while you're on there, they have access to your C drive.
Yeah. And so if that's true, too, I'd have to go through the contract and see that. I don't know if they have access to your C drive, but I will tell you what they will say is they're asking you access to your photos. You've got to upload the photos and give them permission. But once those photos go on Facebook, you don't own those anymore. Facebook owns them.
Right. And even with video games, the same way. It's like a 22-page contract.
Yeah. And it's bad news, and people ought to know it. Free markets are the way to handle this. But here's what I can tell you. You can do whatever you want, but it is also my right to call you out on it. You can lie, you can deceive, you can be devious and perpetrate all of this on the people using your platform. You can try to do it in secrecy, but if I find out about it, I'm blowing the lid off it. I'm doing it every day of the week, and it is a full-time job, just like with the mainstream media. All right, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227, taking you all the way through till 5 o'clock. I'm Grant Stinchfield. I'm in for Rick Roberts, and so what I want to do is when we come back, I'm going to tell you a quick story about my 8-year-old who actually happened to be ungrateful on Christmas morning. And what I did was, I think I should start a business about what I did and the tour that I took him on, and just how powerful it was, and just how great the people that you expect are not going to be great, how great they actually can be. And I believe strangers can change lives. I'm going to tell you about that right after we come back from a break. And then the top of the hour, I want to go through this Russia investigation. And I want to go through everything now going on with the FBI. And I want to tell you that if anything is a surprise to you, you've been living under a rock for 30 years. If any of this FBI stuff, the text messages, the investigations of American citizens, if any of this is a surprise to you, you have been living with blinders on, and quite frankly, you have been uninformed. Because I'm going to give you a little different take, that at the top of the hour. But first, a little lesson on how strangers can change your lives when we come back. 800-288-9227, 800-288-WB2, what am I doing? 800-288-WBAP. I'm Grant Stinchfield, in for Rick Roberts. Stick with me, back in a flash. Grant Stinchfield here. Welcome back. This is the Rick Roberts program. I'm sitting in for the great Rick Roberts. All right, I want to tell you a story about times you can be surprised and why you need to give everyone a chance. So on Christmas Eve morning, I am with my son, and he's going with his mother up to North Carolina on Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve morning was our Christmas morning. Santa came the night before, and he opened his presents Christmas Eve morning because he was with me, and I have him half the week. 8-year-old, he's a good boy. I want to say this too. He is not only a good boy, but he is a great boy, and he is smart beyond his years when it comes to street smarts. But he was acting like a little toot Christmas morning after all these presents and guitars and you name it. He got it. Spoiled little boy. And he was acting it. And then I took him to play a little basketball at an indoor court. He was acting even more like a toot. So I said, buddy, you know what? That's it. I'm done. We're going for a road trip. And so I put him in my Jeep, and we drove down to Fair Park in Dallas, to the worst area of Fair Park. I'm not talking about Texas State Fair. We went to the worst part of Fair Park that you can find. Now, I worked for Channel 5 for many years, and I spent most of my adult life in hoods across America, and that's what they are. They're the hood, and people who live in the hood will tell you it's the hood. I took them down there. I want to see. So I'm driving around. I said, pal, look at that house. It's got boards on the wall. It's got bars. People living in it with bars and boards. One, the board is peeled off, and a little kid goes through the plywood to get inside. I said, pal, do we have bars on the windows, plywood on the doors? Do you want to live in a place like this? I said, but this takes hard work. I said, this is why you need to be grateful for what we have. You're not grateful. You do not have the Christmas spirit. So we're driving through, and you see crazy things in the hood. I see somebody in a wheelchair, like tiptoeing through with one leg, and then somebody with no legs on a skateboard flying by, like literally the craziest stuff. And he's looking at this with his eyes wide open. And while I drive up to a very well-known car wash on MLK Boulevard, it's where all the drug dealing is done. I drive up in my Jeep, 5-inch lift, big tires. I mean, we are honky central, okay? And I'm looking, and I said, buddy, I want you to look at that. I said, you see those guys over there? I said, those are drug dealers, and the only way they can make money is from dealing drugs. And so that's how they do it. And they're violent, and they're dangerous, and you better not get caught up with them. And then you see these people here, there are people begging for money in the front of the car wash. I said, look at that. I said, one lady's on crutches. She's hobbling around. And he says, Dad, don't stare. Don't stare. I said, no. We're going to do better than that. We're going to go talk to him. And he says, what? He looks at me with big wide eyes. I said, we're going to talk to the drug dealers. Well, I pull up the Jeep, roll down the window. I said, buddy, I need some help. He comes over here. What the hell you want? He looked at me like I'm crazy. I said, I got a little boy here with no Christmas spirit. Can you help me? Because he lives in a great house. We drive a nice car. He got a whole slew of presents today, and he still has no Christmas spirit. I thought maybe you could help me. Now, I didn't know. I figured it'd go down two ways. Either he starts cursing, yelling, and screaming at me and tells me to get out. Now, I'm packing heat, mind you. He could have pulled a gun. I could have put my kid in danger. I didn't think that was going to happen, though, and it didn't. Instead, the very opposite happens. He looked at me, and he says, little boy, I didn't have a dad that would take me to a place like this and show me what it's like, that if you don't work hard, how you can end up. I didn't have a family that cared about me or loved me, so I'm here in 32 degrees washing cars. Well, he said washing cars. I already told him the jig was up. We knew what he was doing. But he says, do you think I want to be out here washing cars on Christmas Eve morning? He said, little boy, you better get the Christmas spirit. And he went on and on and on. And I thought, oh, my God, this guy's great. So I go into my wallet. Cumulus is going to be happy for me telling this story. Still in my wallet is my Christmas bonus from over at KLIF, my $50 gift card. Did you guys get one of those, Davey Dave? You get a $50 gift card from Cumulus?
Yes, I did. I remember that.
And I was grateful.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I was grateful for it.
Yes.
But I pulled it. It's a credit card. Just like a Visa gift card.
Mm-hmm.
I pull it out of my wallet or my money clip. And I said, buddy, I want you to take this. Thank you for telling my son this message. Take it and go buy yourself something nice. I said, it's a $50 gift card. He looks at it and he goes, what is this? I said, it's like a credit card, but it's got $50 on it. And he says, how do you use it? Now, folks, we can talk about working hard and you get anything you want, but I'm telling you, the system is stacked against people that grow up in the hood. They grow up listening to gunshots at night. No kid should ever have to do that. The system, it takes an exceptional person to beat that system. There is no doubt in my mind that it does. He didn't even know what a credit card was or how to use it. And my kid's looking at it. My kid, mind you, he's 8 years old, knows how to sign the check and add the tip on a bill at the restaurant. And here you have a 20-year-old something guy that doesn't even know what a credit card is. So my kid's eyes are wide open. When we're driving down the street, I'm about ready to leave. There's a homeless guy under a bridge sleeping under a cardboard box. And lo and behold, who's pushing a cart with a backpack on, sneakers with no laces, but Black Santa. Black Santa is pushing a cart. I said, I'm stopping to talk to this guy. I got a homeless guy. He's wearing a Santa hat. If anybody has the Christmas spirit, that guy does. So I rolled down the window. I said, sir. And my kid is now, he's freaking out. He doesn't know what to do. His eyes are about as big as the moon. I said, sir, can you help me? He comes over. Yeah. I said, is that all you got in that grocery cart and on your back? He says, yeah, this is it, man. This is all I got. He says, except this smile. And he's smiling. And I said, yeah, but you're wearing a Santa hat. You got the Christmas spirit. And he says, yeah, I got the Christmas spirit. I don't have anything else. And he starts going into a deal. I said, well, I got a little boy here who doesn't have the Christmas spirit. And he looks at Wyatt and he says, little boy, as long as you have God in your heart, you have the Christmas spirit. He says people in Highland Park, Christmas is easy for them. They don't worry about Christmas. We here in the hood, he says, we worry about Christmas. We worry about how to get presents. We worry about where to sleep at night. He says, but I've got God on my heart, and I've got the Christmas spirit. So I said, well, I got to give this guy some money. So I didn't have any more Cumulus gift cards. So I pull out $20, and I said, brother, take this. Thank you. And he says, thank you. He says, he almost blows the whole thing. He says, take down my number. He says, if you ever need me to talk to your son, I'm happy to talk to him about what it's really like in the hood. I took down the guy's number. I still got it. Willie is his name. Now, we pull off, and my wisecracking son says, Dad, if he's so hard off, how does he have a phone number? And I said, pal, that phone that he has was probably given to him by some shelter someplace or Obama. And you got to pay for the minutes by the minute. When they run up, you're out, buddy. It's not unlimited minutes like we have. I guess nights and weekends are gone now, but it's unlimited. I said, you run out, and then it's done. I said, so you learn anything? Yes, Dad. Yes. So I drop him off at his mom. She's mortified that I took him on this tour of the hood in Fair Park. But 2 days later, I asked her, how was he in North Carolina? She said he was an absolute angel. He was the nicest, most polite, sweetest boy you can imagine. Mission accomplished. 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. I'm Grant Stinchfield in for Rick Roberts. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the deep state government. We're going to talk about the FBI out to get you. And is it really a surprise? Come on, if you are surprised, get out from underneath that rock you're living under. Again, I'm Grant Stinchfield, back in a flash.
The rent got to be a few 100 million more like me, just trying to keep it free.
Rick Roberts starts right now.
Hey, folks, I'm Grant Stinchfield, sitting in for the great Rick Roberts. I'm just back from New York. You know, New York is my home state, a state that I'm sad to say this, I'm embarrassed by where New York has gone. But I do think the state of New York and California and Maryland can serve as examples of where we do not want to go in Texas. And so Texans, we've got the world by the you-know-what, the cojones right now is what we'd say in New York, all right? But I see it slipping from our grasp as more and more Californians move here, as more and more New Yorkers move here. And then what do? They get here, and then they vote for liberals. They go to escape the liberal policies, they come here, and then they vote for them. So what got me thinking was I had done an interview with a woman who was from Venezuela. She's an Olympic shooter. Gabby Franco is her name, and she's a fabulous talent when it comes to guns. And she said she would never move back to Venezuela. Well, why would you? You've got a dictator that's literally killing people. You've got famine in the streets. You've got price controls where you can't buy just about anything. Freedom is all but gone. It's being run by a socialist dictator. But then I was like, wow, she didn't want to go back and live in Venezuela. I don't want to go back and live in New York. I wouldn't live there. Now, earlier in this program, I told you about death threats that I get, and I get them on a fairly regular basis. They don't really concern me, but as soon as I started working for the NRA, I started getting a lot. Since then, I carry a firearm with me. I used to carry it every now and then. But now, because of the craziness, I carry a firearm everywhere. And I most certainly carry it when I'm with my child, and my family and anyone that's around me that I love. And that's important to me. Well, do you know what was so disconcerting? I got off the plane at LaGuardia Airport, and for the first time in probably 3 or 4 months, I hadn't been out of Texas in a while, I was disarmed. I had no way to protect myself or my family. Talk about disconcerting. Talk about nerve-wracking. And I said, what has my state come to that literally my fundamental right to protect myself, they empower the criminal to go around with guns, and they take away my rights and put me at the mercy of criminals. And I'm thinking, this could happen anywhere. But number one, this is why I'm never leaving Texas, because I will not allow it to happen here. There's no doubt about that. Now I'm at dinner, my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. And this is what I want to ask you about. This is so crazy. So we're there, and I'm talking. I have my son, and I said, as the waiter comes, and we're at 14 people at the table. I'm sure Wyatt, my 8-year-old son, and I are the only two conservatives in the whole place, and my pet psychic sister from California. She's actually a conservative. You can believe it. That's another story. I said, no, ma'am, you go first. You order first. I said, right, Wyatt, ladies first. And she looks at me, and she says, oh, no, that's not necessary. I said, excuse me? I said, ladies first. It's a way to be polite. No, I think that's very misogynistic of you. I said, what? I said, what about hold the door? I hold the door for women. She goes, no. She goes, that's offensive to me. This is a woman. Mind you, a high-powered executive. I first said a Fortune 500 company. I think this is like a Fortune 20 company, okay? Big-time executive. I said, you don't want me to hold the door for you. No. It's sexist that somehow you put me in a class, she says. I said, this is boggling my mind. My son is listening. I'm upset that he's not now realizing that everything we taught about being polite, she's thrown out the window. I said, what about getting out of the elevator? I said, I let women off the elevator. No. I said, well, my son and I don't curse, do we, Wyatt? And he says, except on the golf course. And I said, I smile, and everybody laughed. I said, that is our rule. You're not allowed to curse on the golf course, except, I said, you're only allowed to curse on the golf course, but never in front of, my son says, women. Well, that is about the most anti-feminist, anti-women thing I've ever heard. I'm offended by all of that. And it got me thinking, what has this world come to? That a woman is offended by me being nice to her. She's offended by being polite. What gender equality? Men and women are different. I hate to break the news to everyone out there, but they are. And I don't just hold the door for women either. If I'm at the mall, I'll hold the door for a guy. It's about being polite. And so now you've got in New York political correct lunatics that have gutted not only the Second Amendment, but they've gutted men. They are raising wussies, and they're raising these women who now think that somehow if you hold the door for them, that you have given them a slap in the face instead of being polite. To me, that's the kind of thing that makes me sick to my stomach. Because yes, there are differences. And there should be differences. It's what the world is about. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. You know, she told me, she says, I have men that don't let me off the elevator that I work with. I said, you know what? You shouldn't work with any of those men. I wouldn't want any of those men in my company. Sorry. Now, are men and women equal? Yes. Should they be paid equally for the same work? Yes, you better believe it. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they're different. And guess what? This goes for everything, mind you. It goes for religions. It goes for color. It goes for what country you come from. There are differences in everybody, but liberals can't handle it, and they don't want to talk about that. That's the craziest thing of all of it. Why don't they want to talk about it? Because somehow they feel that it's a slap in the face to them. That somehow they're less of a person because I let them off the elevator, I let them order first. You can throw politeness out the window now, too, apparently. Again, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. If any of you moved here from a state like California or New York or Maryland or Connecticut or Minnesota, I can go down the list. Would you ever move back? And it is so sad to think that you would never go back. A place that you loved, that you were proud of. I'm now embarrassed. I am far more, after 15 years in Texas, far more of a Texan than I ever was a New Yorker. And I'm grateful for that. All right, I'm Grant Stinchfield, sitting in for Rick Roberts. We'll talk about that, plus the deep state inside the federal government and why you should not be surprised. Stick around as the Rick Roberts Show continues right here on WBAP. Hey, folks, I'm Grant Stinchfield, sitting in for Rick Roberts right here on WBAP. I will tell you that I am fed up of liberals trying to do away with labels. Sometimes you have to put labels on people, even the most basic labels. Male, female. Yes, they're equal, but yes, they're different. So when I got confronted in New York by a high-powered executive telling me she didn't need me to hold the door for her, she didn't need me to let her off the elevator first, that she says that is misogynistic and I'm a male chauvinist pig for doing that, I said, this is what we've come to. Political correctness that has literally taken over. I don't even know if you'd call that political correctness, though. It's like this feeling that somehow equality means no difference, just a vanilla white, everybody the same, like we're all minions or something running around. That's where liberals actually want us, though. You know they want you to be a minion. There are differences. And in Texas, there are differences, and I'm proud of it. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Sandra in Mineral Wells, you're on WBAP. I appreciate you calling in.
Well, hi there. Like you, I'm from the liberal cesspool known as New Jersey. We fled to Texas 5 years ago to come to the last outpost of freedom. And I must tell you, I dread having to go back there. My friends are there. There's some family there, but I absolutely hate it. At Newark Airport, I may be 67 years old, but you know what? You don't have to push me around when it comes to getting the luggage off the rack compared to when I returned to Texas. The gentlemen helped me take my luggage off of the carousel, and they take it to my car. And my husband has asked me several times, who was that? I said, I have absolutely no idea. He was a gentleman. And people don't realize that is so greatly appreciated. To be called ma'am, to have the door held open for you, and I, like you, I hold the door open for men as well. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. And you know what? As far as you go, I like your misogyny. If being polite is calling you misogynist, then let's just go with it then.
Well, you used a very bad word up there, gentleman. Apparently you can't be a gentleman anymore up in New York or New Jersey.
It's true. It's true, but it's so sad. But you know what? I come back to Texas, so I haven't been there in 2 years, and I'm really not looking forward to going up later in the year in the fall.
Well, you sound like me,
Sandra. Say a prayer for me.
I'm so glad. Your voice is refreshing. I appreciate your thoughts on this. Thank you for calling in. 800-288-9227. That is the number, 800-288-WBAP. You hear what she said, gentlemen. Now, I teach anyone, any youngster that I come across, you never, ever raise a hand to women. Never, ever. I don't care how bad they're beating you up. You don't raise a hand to a woman. You get them off of you and you move on down the line, okay? Within reason, unless they're trying to murder you or something. But I'm just saying you never raise a hand to women. Now, a playground bully, if your kid's at school and the playground bully gets out of line and you've done everything in your power, sometimes the best way to handle a playground bully is a swift punch right to the nose. That's the truth. It'll get you in all kinds of trouble, especially in these big city public schools. But it still will get you the respect you need if you're a kid out there. And that's the only way to handle a bully. Punch in the face. It works. Now, I would never tell a kid to punch a woman in the face. This female executive from New York, would she say it's okay then for men to raise a hand to women? No. I would hope not anyway. But Lord knows what they think, by the way. Let's go out to Wayne in Fort Worth. You're on WBAP. Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Grant. How are you?
I'm doing great, my man.
Great. I'm a 64-year-old fellow from Fort Worth, but I originated from the Northeast in New Jersey. And I had the same situation with a professional lady at a dinner situation with all my friends, and I went to assist her with her chair, and she let me know very quickly that I was offensive to her, and I was taken back. I was raised like yourself to be a gentleman. Many years ago, as a child, I mentioned to my dad that some of the guys were making fun of me because I was a gentleman in school. And my father said to me, he said, son, remember one thing. Before you could ever become a gentleman, you first must be a man. And I took pride in that, and I thought, well, that's okay. I don't mind being a gentleman. Well, anyhow, the woman went on to chastise me in front of my friends, and all I could say was, well, excuse me, ma'am, I thought I was with a lady. and she turned very red-faced. Everyone chuckled. and that was the end of the situation at that point. So I don't know what she thought of me after that, but I think it's very important to be a gentleman, and I agree. We teach our children not to ever to encounter a woman as far as physical violence or anything like that.
Absolutely. And so what you summed it up. It's about being a man. Wayne, thank you for the call. And there's nothing wrong with that. A very good buddy of mine, his name's Chuck Holton. He wrote a book called Raising Men. He's an Army Ranger. He comes on my NRA TV program all the time. And he had said the definition of a man is someone who makes everyone around him just a little bit safer. That's the definition of a man. And when I think about how I want to go through life, that's who I want to be. I want everyone who is around me is just a little bit safer because I'm there. Whether that's a girlfriend, a wife, a family member, a mother, a sister, your son, whoever it may be, maybe it's your coworkers. That's the definition of a man. For many of these feminazis up north, they can't stand that definition at all. Certainly this woman that didn't want to order first because I said ladies first, she definitely wouldn't like that definition. Mike, you are on the Rick Roberts Show. What do you say?
Hey, Rick, you don't know. It's not Rick. I'm sorry.
It's Grant.
Hey, Grant, and I appreciate what you just said about a man being a man and being trained to be so. In respect to the lady that you had to run in with, I've got a grandmother, a mother, a wife, and 2 daughters that would bounce her off her ass for disrespecting a man like that. I was raised, you keep a woman on a pedestal. You treat them like a queen. We're supposed to honor our women, take care of our daughters, and it doesn't matter if they're ours or our neighbors. Yeah. It's just a matter of respect. It's a matter of being an American and a matter of being a man.
Hey, let me tell you something. So I've had somewhat of an experience in this. So when I go to the NRA annual meetings, I do NRA TV, and I walk in and people are so nice to me and they come up to me and they want to shake my hand. Now, I'm certainly humble about it, but I'll tell you what, Mike, it makes me feel great. Why wouldn't a woman feel great if she walks in a room and everybody says, hey, can I get your coat? Can I get you a drink? Yeah. Why wouldn't you feel great about that?
It makes you appreciate it, and all boils back. That woman that you're getting the coat for feels safer in your presence.
Yep.
And you've taken the initiative to stand up and get her coat for her. Therefore, you are a barrier. You're giving her a little reassurance. You're going to take care of that little minor detail.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's our society. I don't know. The blacks have a matriarchal society, and you respect that. What Mama says, hey, ain't nobody questioning that.
It's how I grew up, and it's exactly. Look, it's everybody. Hey, Mike, great phone call. Thank you. I appreciate it. The number 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. I got to speak to Diamond and Silk a little earlier. You may remember them from Fox News. They come on my NRA TV program all the time. 2 black ladies who know a thing or two about freedom and what it's like to have their message squashed. I treat them like ladies. I'm proud to know them. I'm going to play some of that interview for you when we come back. You're listening to The Rick Roberts Show on WBAP. I'm Grant Stinchfield. We're back in a flash. Grant Stinchfield here. You're listening to Rick Roberts' Show. I'm sitting in for him and happy to do it right here on WBAP. So when I was back home in New York, I had a woman tell me that no, I didn't need to hold the door for her. No, she didn't need to order off the menu first. All those traditions in the male-female role should be thrown out the window in her state because she finds them misogynistic and chauvinistic. And then I see the story the New York Post was reporting that PepsiCo, the maker of Doritos, was contemplating working on a new lady-friendly Dorito that women don't like to crunch as loud as men, and they don't like all the stuff on their fingers, and women don't like to lick their fingers and all this stuff. And it created an internet firestorm. How dare they create a different version for women? Well, turns out the whole thing was like hypothetical in the first place. Maybe they were going to do it, but they said, we want a do-over on this. We didn't realize the backlash from the feminist crowd that comes with the heat saying, absolutely, we don't want a different Dorito. If you want to make a different Dorito for ladies, make a different Dorito for ladies. Apparently, skirts for feminists are out too. You can't, obviously men aren't going to wear them. They throw everything out the window. And so now what you have is pale white Americans going through life with no flavor. The differences in human beings are what we should celebrate, not try to stop. And so this is one of the reasons why I will never go back to New York, certainly not to live there. I'll go back and visit. I've got family there. But when you talk about this kind of nonsense, about taking away a male and female roles, to me, it makes me sick. And don't forget, in New York, they take away not just roles, they take away guns. So I got off the plane in New York, and I didn't even have a right to protect myself because I was disarmed in that state. Stephen Lucas, you're on WBAP. Thanks for holding.
Very nice to meet you, Grant. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, I've been on hold. There have been two topics I'd like to bring up, and you just alluded to the one.
Okay.
The talking about, you said you had your friend who was from Venezuela, and we're talking about gun rights as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's precisely what happened in Venezuela, was the government disarmed the populace and then armed their militia, the government's militia, and now the government is essentially a dictatorship, and the people who are the regular folks like us are unarmed.
All right, Steve, let me just reset this for people because this was earlier in the hour. I was talking to an Olympic athlete who's a seasoned shooter. She's from Venezuela. She said she'll never go back there. She lives in the United States now. Venezuela has been overrun with a brutal dictator who will kill anybody that gets in his way. There's famine, there's disease, there's no medical supplies. This is what socialism does. She said she'd never go back and live there. And it got me thinking that I said, you know what? New York is clearly not as bad as Venezuela, but it's bad, and I would never go back and live there. And then that's where we get to Stephen Lucas.
And I heard Ben Shapiro interviewed by Piers Morgan some time back, and Ben Shapiro was commenting on this right, the Second Amendment, right of us all to bear arms. And Piers Morgan asked him, why? Ultimately, why do you want it to be? And he said, because the government can rise up in tyranny and absolutely take all the rights away from the people. And Piers Morgan mocked him, but it's just happened in our hemisphere down in Venezuela.
Yeah, it absolutely has, and we should look at what's happening there as a symbol of what can come in America. You've got forces at play, literally vocal forces like Bernie Sanders who pushes socialism. So that's another topic.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, though, because we were talking about gender roles.
Okay, gender roles. By the way, I moved to Dallas from Santa Monica, California. One of the reasons was it was getting to be so rude, and that was 24 years ago. Imagine what it has become now. And Santa Monica is so beautiful, but it was just getting to where the politeness had really disappeared greatly from everyday life. Now, gender roles, I frequently go into coffee shops, restaurants, and mini marts, and now most of the toilets, most of the restrooms are marked as unisex. And every now and then I'll go in. In fact, it's fairly frequent. And I'll see that some guy has been in there. He's gone to the bathroom all over the toilet seat and hasn't bothered to clean it up. And I kind of chuckle to myself and I think, okay, ladies, this is what you bargained for, the ones who bargained for it, because we are equal, but there are differences.
Yeah, well, that sums it up, and that's a great example of, boy, if there was one of why you'd want us to be definitely separate when it comes to bathrooms, that's it. Steve, great phone call. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you. 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. Let's go out to Janice in Rockwall. Janice, you're on WBAP.
Hi, Grant. Nice to talk to you. I miss you on the sister station.
Oh, thank you, Janice. I miss my time over on KLIF as well. But don't forget, you can catch me on NRA TV every morning. Just go to NRATV.com, and it's a great spot to see what we're doing. But anyway, thank you, Janice. What do you think about all this that we're talking about?
Well, I moved from California 7 years ago. And when people find out in Texas that I'm there, they just kind of look at me like, oh, you must be one of those liberals. And it's so not the case. And I'm just happy to be here. I never, California got so liberal and so ridiculous. My husband had a job for over 25 years. They just eliminated it. He looked for a job for over 9 months And he helped a friend move to Texas and got a job in a week and a half while he was just out helping him set up his house. And so, to me, I'm a Texan now.
Well, we're happy to have you as a Texan. And as far as people from California goes moving here, I'm happy to welcome people that think like you, Janice. The problem is we get people moving here from California that want to escape the oppressive government, and then they end up coming here and voting for liberals, which boggles the mind.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
It is, and that's exactly how I describe what has happened in New York. They are very similar states in too many respects. Yeah. Janice, thank you for the call and thank you for the kind words. I can't tell you how much it makes me feel great about what you said. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. I did tell you that we were going to get to my Diamond and Silk interview, and so I do want to do that because it's about censorship. They censored a buddy of mine, Dom Rosso, a Navy SEAL, on Facebook. They censored his video, basically lying, saying it was sexually explicit when it's a video about World War II veterans and why we stand for the flag. Well, this is what they do. They lie to you. Turns out Diamond and Silk, the two black women you see on Fox News all the time, Trump supporters, they're great internet sensations. They're getting censored too. We're going to talk to them when we come back. But first, let's take a little break. I'm Grant Stinchfield in for Rick Roberts. Back in a flash. Hey there, I'm Grant Stinchfield, sitting in for Rick Roberts, taking you up till 5 o'clock tonight. My buddy Dom Rosso, a veteran Navy SEAL who works over at the NRA, put out a video basically telling us why he stands and why we should stand for the national anthem. And he specifically referenced World War II vets who died storming the beaches of Iwo Jima and Guadalcanal and Peleliu. This is a bit of that video.
I haven't always embraced history. But when I walked through a World War II museum the other day, it changed my life forever. I saw the dead bodies of Americans piled up on Omaha Beach, jackets filled with bullet holes, and the sand stained with blood.
Now, does that sound like it's sexually explicit? Does it show violence against children or teenagers? No, that's a lie. But that was the warning that Facebook put up over that video just so to make sure you wouldn't watch it. Turns out censorship is alive and well because they try to control the message. They try to control the power. Well, Diamond and Silk are great friends of mine. You may know them. They're two black ladies that are on Fox News all the time, internet sensations. I had a chance to talk to them about censorship and their own videos that have gone viral. Here's a portion of that. It is so great to have you on the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So, you two ladies have been a viral sensation on social media, and I'd like to know your thoughts about Facebook censoring a message about why we stand and why World War II veterans gave up their lives for this country.
We don't know what's wrong with Facebook. It seems like they're also trying to control the narrative. They don't want us to know about our Constitution. They don't want us to know anything about our veterans. They don't want us to know anything that's going to help support anybody that's helping to fight for our freedoms. Mm-hmm. And it's time for people to pay attention. We know the left keep pushing stay woke, but we're telling you to pay attention. Look at the movers and the shakers and the fakers here. Look at the people that's trying to steer the message so you won't know certain things.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Well, it's time for us to stay woke, and it's time for us to pay attention. It's sad that Facebook is in putting itself in the middle of what we should see and what they think we shouldn't see, what they think is good for us and what they think is not good for us. They acting like they are a straight dictator. Mm-hmm. They're not a dictator. They are social media. And the mere fact that they are controlling almost over half of the world, that lets me know that this is turning into a monopoly, and it's time for somebody to step in and break this all up.
That's right.
We have had listeners that have said that very thing, ladies, that maybe somebody will step up. And look, I don't even say come up with a conservative site or a liberal site. Just come up with a site where you're not going to censor things, because you summed it up. They're trying to steal the message, and they do it through lies. Now, you two ladies put out messages of freedom and hope and conservatism and all of these values. Have they ever tried any of this to you, whether the likes of Twitter or YouTube or any of it?
Absolutely. We are being censored on all of our social media platforms.
Yes.
Where our video will reach 1 million views within a day, it barely gets over 10 or 20,000. It just depends on how they feel in that day.
That's right.
We have all of our data to prove it. Let me tell you why they do it, though. Because, see, they know that the president won this through social media.
That's right.
Through social media. I mean, everybody drove the message home to get out and vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're saying, they won't do that again. They won't use that way again. So this is what we do. And so what they try to do is they try to thumb down your video. They try to make it seem like that you don't have any listeners. But here's the deal. Our fans are so clever. They email us or go on the side of our page. Where are you all at? I haven't been getting my notification. Facebook is doing something. Facebook is now asking me questions. I mean, it is the craziest thing, and we can see it.
It really is a deliberate attempt to violate our First Amendment is basically what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking away our free speech. You know, this is a platform, a social media that's open to the public. If they didn't want us to have our platform on their platform, then they shouldn't have made it available to us. They tell us if you get these many people that like your page, they will get a notification whenever you come on or whenever you post something. Now everything is being censored, and I think it should be against the law.
That's right.
All right, so here's the real bottom line. When we talk to two ladies like Diamond and Silk, ladies, when you bring this message, it's important, but you've got to make money off it. And so when you put your videos out there, I imagine that you're monetizing this, and I want you to. I want you to be wildly successful of it so you can produce more content. When they limit the videos, or if somehow they limit the number of views on your videos, that limits the amount of money you can make from these videos. And that, I believe, is another sideline way of how they squash your speech by making it not profitable for you to do it.
And not only that, they also block which advertisers can include advertisement within our videos.
That's right.
You know, sometimes they have these platforms set up where, okay, if you do this particular video, we allow advertisers to advertise in between, like a commercial break, where they've taken that mechanism away from us.
That's right. They won't allow us to monetize.
That's right.
I mean, but they're doing it to a bunch of conservative voices, a bunch of voices that don't lean their way,
right?
That just don't talk it the way they talk it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's time for people to stop lying and let's tell the truth about things. And if you are a truth teller, they don't like that, so they put mechanism in place to block you.
But one thing about Diamond and Silk that we want everybody to understand, that when a door closes, a window always open. And that's why we're taking our message to the streets.
That's why.
And so that is exactly what they're going to do, is take that message to the streets. And I believe March 8th, they are going to have a Diamond and Silk show, and they're coming to town. It was so great to talk to them today as they spread their message of freedom and liberty, and an important message that it is. Man, I'm going to tell you what, it has been awesome being back on the radio. You know, I spent 4 years doing Evening Drive on 570 KLIF, and they were nice enough to let me go to continue pushing the message of freedom and liberty on NRA TV, which is where I am every morning. You can find me at Stinchfield 1776 on Twitter, Stinchfield 1776, or just go Stinchfield on Facebook, and you can find me pretty easily there too. But it has been a great pleasure. And riding again with Navy Dave, the new producer of the Rick Roberts Show since December. Navy Dave, it really was great working with you. You know, you spent so much time over on the Stinchfield Report at 570, and now here we are back together.
Yeah, in a different role.
In a very different role. And you know what's interesting? I didn't even really ask you, but Navy Dave, you know, Dom Rosso, my buddy, was a Navy SEAL, does this video. You were the guy that was delivering the Navy SEALs to these remote beaches when your time in the Navy, correct?
That's correct. I used to do the SWIC team. So the SWIC is the guys that drive the SEAL boats and stuff like that. So I did the Mark V SEAL boat, and I also did the rib boats. So I drove both of those.
That's cool. God bless you for it. That's why we call him Navy Dave. So does Rick Roberts call you Navy Dave?
No, he calls me David.
He just David.
Yes.
Well, you know me. I'm not that official.
I know.
I can't call anybody David.
It's funny because some people are still like, hey, where's Navy Dave?
Yeah.
And
then they just threw it out. Well, look,
it's okay.
I got to have nicknames for everybody.
I still recognize. I go by it all the time. Sometimes I say Navy Dave.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
I'm glad you gave me that name. I feel honored.
The whole crew today did great. Randy did great on the board. Everybody's great. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate them letting me come on back in here and spout off for a little while. And so thank you, folks, for listening. Rick Roberts will be in tomorrow, I guess, right, Navy Dave? Is he back tomorrow?
That's right. He'll be back tomorrow.
Okay. So Rick Roberts will be back. Spare you my voice. Tomorrow, your main dude is back. Thank you, folks. We're over and out. I'm Grant Stinchfield. Appreciate you listening.
Don't quit till the job gets done. That's the only way I know. Don't stop till everything's gone. Straight ahead, never turn around. Don't back up, don't back down. A full throttle, wide open.